It's used in everything from diet sodas to chewing gum. Now, artificial sweetener aspartame could be labelled a possible cancer risk. Reuters sources say the International Agency for Research on Cancer, an arm of the World Health Organization, will make the move next month. It will list aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. The ruling is based on all published evidence and is meant to spur more research into the product. It doesn't take into account how much a person can consume before facing a heightened risk. The news has drawn a furious response from drinks makers. The International Sweeteners Association said the IARC was acting on widely discredited research. Aspartame has been investigated for years. One French study showed slightly increased cancer risks in people who consumed a lot of the sweetener, but the results have been disputed and the product remains widely used. It's in things including Diet Coke and Mars Extra chewing gum. The IARC is due to make public its decision on July 14th. Its past rulings have forced makers to change recipes and sparked waves of lawsuits. Critics say it's too prone to causing consumer alarm. The body has previously listed working overnight, eating red meat, and using mobile phones as possible cancer risks.
I'm kind of addicted to Diet Coke a bit, and that's going to make me maybe want to think about changing to like flavored sparkling water, maybe that's not got any sugar or aspartame in it.
I always knew it kind of like tastes funny.
We do see, the big soda manufacturers like Pepsi and Coke changing their formula over time. Now, this takes time because you can't just say, hey, we're going to replace one sweetener with another. They've tried this in different forms and fashions over the years and different marketing campaigns that drive that. But, taste is what drives the majority of the sales with one manufacturer over another. So when I say this is going to take time, that is the biggest part of this, is that what is the formula that maintains the current taste? Because, we've seen in the past where Coke has tried to change their formula and people moved away. So, there's a lot of things that go into this. And, the consumer taste is a very, very difficult thing to get right. So the fact that they already have it right, that's why they're reluctant to change. But they're going to have to. And so that's going to take a lot of marketing research, a lot of scientific research to determine, what is the best alternative to maintain our current customer.
Aspartame, it tastes a lot like sugar, and it's also really convenient for front of package labeling to say, hey, this is a no added sugar product. Consumers really tend to like the fact that they can have a diet soda without any calories. So it's convenient for companies to kind of construct what we call a health halo around some of these products. Unfortunately, in this case, as you dig a little deeper, you realize that sometimes something like a diet soda might not quite be the health food that we might have hoped.
When it first came out in the 1980s, and right after that was after saccharin was proven carcinogenic, so they were looking for a replacement. I said they're going to find something really bad about aspartame. So I'd rather even have sugar instead of aspartame.
There's plenty of reputable sources online that currently still say it has no risk. So this really represents just some new reevaluation of the science and kind of coming to the understanding that, okay, we've done some more studies and we're just seeing information that we didn't have before. That's just kind of how science works. It sometimes takes a while to really get enough evidence, but this is an important step in making sure that the public is aware of the potential risks of aspartame.
I'm surprised it took this long. That was like 40 years or something for them to finally come out with it, but I'm sure they knew it a long time ago.
It seems like everything causes cancer these days, so I kind of take it with a grain of salt. I don't think I'm going to give up Diet Coke completely.
Certainly cutting down on it is a great place to start. It's really incredible once you start removing things from your diet. It can be a little bit of a challenge at first, but people's tastes do change. These soda companies really know how to make a product that develops a dedicated customer base. And sometimes the ways of doing that aren't very, they can be a little nefarious. So weaning oneself off is a great place to start. There's a lot of options these days that don't rely on any sort of sugar or non-sugar sweeteners.
The consumer will continue to do something that they know is somewhat harmful to their health for quite a while. It takes a big shift. I mean, we saw it in cigarettes. Everyone knows that it causes cancer, yet there's still a product, right? So it's no surprise to me that it's taken this long to move away from it. And, at the end of the day, it's largely driven by sales and marketing. So if you're getting sales with a product, there's not a big incentive for these companies to shift. What I see changing now is that this is really highlighted. It's in the news. And so they're going to get a lot of questions. And that's why I do want to see how this goes. They're obviously going to come out and act like they're going to create the narrative that, hey, we're looking into this, we're looking to change. So we'll see if I think it's going to have to gain momentum for it to really stick.
Really, anytime an organization like the World Health Organization changes guidance, it really just causes people to question, okay, like what can I trust anymore if things are constantly changing? So really the message that I and some of my colleagues are oftentimes preaching is, hey, let's really just focus on a whole food and especially plant-based diet. It's a really secure place to eat, a secure pattern that repeatedly has been shown to really be beneficial for health. So yeah, I would encourage people just realize that, hey, this is the way science works sometimes, but also as much as possible, realize that there are consistent eating patterns that have been shown over and over again to be risk-free.
When we look at near-term earnings, it's going to have a minor effect. I don't think you're not going to see any dramatic consumer behavior shifts because of this one research report. I think if anything, consumers have shown, despite health hazards in different industries, they will continue to do what they want to do. So we don't really see this as being a near-term effect. What we see is that this will increase cost over time. It's going to be an increase to research and development cost. And then ultimately, they will make a shift. We do think that particular beverage makers are going to have to shift away. And what that will mean is probably a higher cost substitute like stevia or monk fruit, perhaps, because those do work. We know they work. They're just more expensive. And that's been the hesitation to move away from the cheaper aspartame. well as Diet Coke.
For people who have diabetes and who like a sweet drink or something with that sweet taste, it's going to be a bit of a kind of a wake up call and maybe cause them to rethink some of the dietary choices they've been making. Of course, I think what the message we're always trying to get out to people with diabetes is the fact that managing their symptoms is not the only fate that they need to accept. There's actually been some great studies that have come out recently that have confirmed and really supported the fact that diets that cut out a lot of added fats and avoid animal products can actually reverse type 2 diabetes. So for people looking to still enjoy sweetened beverages and foods, it might be time to really think about, hey, what are some of the whole food plant-based options out there, and how can I move my diet more in that direction and actually get my insulin sensitivity under control?